What it do, everybody? It's Tuesday night Blitz. I'm your man Damon Cunningham, aka Ding DNYDC, joined by my co-host, my man, my riding partner, Big A Sam Adams. What's happening this evening, Sarge?
What's going on, y'all? I'm doing all right. As you can see, Cowboy Troy is retired for the weekend. You know,
Yeah,
I
he
was
needs his
debating
break.
on bringing him out, but yeah, I was like, let him chill out. You know what I'm saying? Cowboys had a bye. It was a little emotional distraught for us out there in Austin at Derrick K. Royal Stadium. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we about to get into it.
yeah, man. It was. I mean, it was a busy sports weekend. First of
It
all,
was definitely
and I know it was definitely tough, for the hometown, in college. But
right.
I do want to say I'm extremely proud that there has been a championship delivered to New York this past weekend by my Lady Liberty. They came
Hmm.
out, they stuck that one out. Ian Jones, Brianna Stewart, pulled it out in the clutch in overtime. So I'm
Right.
proud on one hand to be able to say that there is a champion in New York's first time in a long time. Yankees have a chance of doing it again. First time in a long time as they take on the Dodgers. Man, it should be a great series. And
Yes.
we just had. I mean, it was just a whirlwind weekend, man. Jumping into college. Uh, Man, I don't even know what happened down in I mean,
Oh, I know
being at home.
exactly what happened. I could tell you.
Well,
You know
please,
what I'm saying?
please,
Hey, look.
please.
Hey, look. The math is real easy. If you looked at the previous games that Texas has played, it would be like a slow jump start, right? I think
Right.
I brought that up when during the Red River rivalry, like the first
Yep.
half was kind of like, or the
Yeah.
first quarter, and then the second half came over there, and it was like, that's when they started to pick up.
Right.
I feel that same way. Maybe it was a little hangover from the Red
Hmm.
River rivalry. You know
Good,
what I'm
good
saying?
point.
Because they were on cloud nine,
True.
beating Oklahoma and everything, but they forgot that they had these doggone visitors from Georgia coming through, and
Yeah,
I
man.
think everything came awry. So then with the confusion, I don't I don't think the best move was to sit there and put Arch Manning in a predicament like that because you over here
Agreed.
seeing Quinn Ewers getting
Agreed.
just straight blitzed. The
Yeah.
offensive line wasn't holding anybody back. So that was
Yeah.
another issue by itself too. I didn't even recognize the defense because
No,
we
they didn't
went
show up at all.
doggone 6 games with the fewest points allowed.
Right.
Ranked in the top 10 when it came to yards per game, and
Yeah.
like that totally self-destructed. So they had back on his, I thought that was going to be, you saw glimpses of it like the first few series that Georgia ran,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, it's about to be that prime time, but I don't know, things just crumbled apart. Like I was just like, this is a mess right here.
Yeah.
So
It was ugly, bro. I too, like you, watching the game, parts of the game that I was able to see. Um,
mhm,
it was a tale of two different games. Like you said, slow start in the Red River, and it's just like Georgia's kind of, I don't know if they refocused and reshifted. Because I mean, this is what, the third or fourth straight win after losing to then, what, no, Alabama was number 4 at the time.
yeah,
So they've been on a run and kind of riding that ship, kind of
yeah,
looking somewhat like the Georgia team that I think a lot of people expected early on. And really Alabama's kind of fallen off a cliff, from that point, in time
right,
where they've transitioned. But Texas, again, I was expecting a little bit more of a fight. And yeah, the switch, I didn't think, that move really, again, sometimes I understand coaches like to look for sparks or uh players who can come in and kind of give that element of change, but they really just
right.
got punched in the mouth. I mean, there's really
They
no
did.
other way to stay. I mean, ATN ran for like 3 touchdowns. Uh
Hmm.
Georgia's defense, man, those cats was flying around, making plays, interceptions, and
Oh yeah. I mean,
just yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
no, no, I'm about to say it didn't help that the majority of the scores that Georgia had was already in Texas territory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The two interceptions, fumble for loss, and then just
Yeah.
bad field, bad field positioning,
Mm-hmm.
that cost us the game too. I'd rather them march it 80
Down the
yards to
field.
score a touchdown than be like within the red zone. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's an easy dump or a run. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what happened right there. So,
Yeah.
to each his
Yeah.
own. I mean, granted, it's still a lot of football to be played.
Oh
The
yeah.
SEC is still wide open.
Yeah.
So we just know that Bama probably won't be participating in anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
They could be a two-loss team
And
and
that's what I'm
still
saying.
make it into the playoffs too. So it's still that momentum right there. But I'm hoping, I'm just hoping when it comes to the playoff committee and everything that there's, that tomfoolery won't be around. There's still a lot of good
I hope
teams
so.
out there. There's still a lot of undefeateds that are out there. Shout
Yeah.
out to Army and Navy for still being undefeated.
Right.
And I think that the Army Navy game is going to be more important than ever to, I know they're in different conferences, but still at the same time, that game in December
Should move the
is going to have
needle.
a lot of magnitude to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree because I mean, just looking on that, and we're going to talk about Alabama, next. Just really looking at from Alabama's perspective, like I said, they're already two losses already in, and they
Right.
still have, I believe, Missouri, which is ranked in the top 20 on the schedule, and they
Hmm.
still have LSU, which is in the top
Yep.
10, still on the schedule. So I'm like you, I know a lot of times they like to have teams like Alabama that travels well and shows well.
Hmm.
And I understand the prominence, but this playoff really has to be set up and be legit. Because, like you said, I
Yeah.
mean, if they lose one more game, I'm sorry. You have to look at other teams, like you said, Army and some of these other teams that maybe
Yeah.
are not
One
in
loss
prolific,
teams.
yeah, they're not in a
Yeah.
prolific conference, but they played their games on the schedule and they won out. And I think that is the right way to go about this playoff format, if you're going to do it correctly. So
Yeah.
like you said, there's still a lot of college football games to be left. It's going to be interesting. And like we mentioned, transitioning to Alabama. I mean, look, I ain't from Tennessee, but I was out there with my cigar with the rest of them. I was lighting up my stogie because I was like,
Hey,
man, was that a
hey, the game
crazy
was.
game or what?
Yes, definitely. The game was dwindling down, and I was like, "Man, they blazing up out here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying in the stadium. I was like, "What's happening right now?" But I mean, to the richer go the spoils.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee haven't been slouched on. They haven't been that team to be slouched on. They were highly favored and garnered. Even going into this game.
Right.
So like, I'm not surprised about the outcome of this one.
Right.
It's tough to beat a team like this at home.
Hmm.
And I just don't think something's, I think it's like the Nick Saban effect too. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like Bama's been such a prolific
Yep.
program for so
Yep.
long. And I think people, I'm not really surprised, but you're shocked at the same time. Like, I'm not saying that it's a downslide or a downfall, but still, you think of Bama, they're the cream of the crop up there in the SEC. And they really haven't, they've been struggling this year against
Yes.
teams that they really shouldn't be. I mean, they struggle against like UCF
Right.
or South Florida, one of the two.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
know that they went to Florida and it was like, what is going on right now? So
Hmm.
I think it's going to be, and their number one receiver, Morrison, he was locked down that game too.
Yep. Yep.
So like they didn't get him the ball. I think they waited too late to even try to incorporate him in the game. I think he had
Hmm.
that only touchdown in the fourth quarter,
Yep.
thinking of it. But by that time it was too little too late.
Yeah.
Tennessee stood there, stayed the course. Bama ended up getting another L.
Yeah, I think for me, what stood out in that game really was, and like you said, we've kind of passed, I guess that the Saban ride is over, but this was one of the first times I really seen uh, a team really kind of ground and pound Alabama. I mean,
Yeah,
Samson for Tennessee ran for a buck 39 and 2 touchdowns, which again Tennessee hasn't really been in a conversation like this in a while, but to really
right. No,
watch the
no,
work,
yeah,
but to watch them do the work that they did on the ground, to Alabama's defense, which has been one of the best defense. I mean, look at what they send to the pros. Seem like every year from the defensive
hmm
side of the ball.
right.
They just got manhandled, and not Miles Milrow struggled greatly, mightily. I mean, and to even think of an Alabama team throwing the ball almost 50 times in the game, again,
Hmm
that's almost unheard of. So just kind of
right.
watching, how that broke down, and then the two interceptions didn't help. And then from a perspective of run game, Alabama, which again is solid usually in the run game, ran for less than
Hmm.
100 yards, which Tennessee ran for over 200. So it was just a whole flip, and they were still in the game, but it's one of those. I think it's a tale of two cities. Alabama's going to have to do some work. I think after this year, again, they're going to have to hit the drawing board and kind of restock up and kind of figure out where does this new Alabama regime, where do they go and how do they want to look, moving forward. But it's going to make for interesting football, in the SEC. And
I
I was
think it's
just
going to
sitting
be a
here,
tough sell too when you think about it, because I mean the NIL and the
yeah,
way that the SEC has expanded now,
yeah,
like it's going to be tough for the coach down there to sit here and like, what is my marketing plug for you to
what does
come
that
here
look
to
like?
Bama, for you to come down to Tuscaloosa? You know what I'm saying? When you could stay, Texas, between Texas and Texas A&M, I don't need, and Oklahoma if you want to add them
If you want to
into.
add them into, right?
Um, yeah, but like I don't need to leave that region. And if I'm out in Cali or these other western states, I don't need to go as far,
Right.
for that talent and everything. So like that's a huge impact right now that
I
I think that
agree.
they're going to be dealing with for a while.
Yeah, it's the landscape of everything has changed, like you said, and I think that's going to be another huge impact and a challenge, like you said,
Oh yeah.
for Bama moving forward. But it's going to be interesting, man. It really is. And while we were talking, I just looked up. The NBA is back tonight.
Yeah, I
So
was going
we
to kind of spark a conversation with that.
well go for it. Let's do it. We here,
Well, I mean, it's the start of the NBA season tonight officially,
right?
and I just wanted to know, because I think I already know this, but who's your team and what's your expectations leading into
Wow.
the 2024-2025 season?
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm a homer with again, so watching my Knicks play, the defending champion, the Celtics tonight. If I have to be honest, I think we've made some improvements. With Mikal Bridges and hopefully Tibbs will let some of the younger guys play. McBride and Jericho, and I think we have a solid foundation. The trade, which I know a lot of people, and I think we may have talked about it here or there.
Hmm.
It doesn't blow me away in the sense that Randall, in my opinion, Randall and Cat are pretty much the same player. They're interchangeable. The biggest
Right,
difference to me is that Cat is a little more versatile without the ball. He claims to be a better shooter, but when I really looked at their numbers, they're pretty much the same player. Their numbers are pretty much the same, 25, 9, and whatever. They shoot the same 3-point percentage, but we're getting a younger version. Cat is 2 years
right,
younger than Randall. Uh, we're going to be able to save on an extended contract because he's already been signed to that long-term deal. And I
right.
think the biggest change is what'll happen, like what happened in Minnesota. And I don't know if we're going to see it this year in New York. And the biggest key or the keys are Mitchell Robinson coming back for the Knicks. Cat is he's not a five. He's not a center. So he gets eaten up a lot of times, with too much space on the floor or having to rebound against bigger guys. But if Mitchell
Right.
Robinson is back and anchors the offense, I mean, and the defense, and Cat gets to play that stretch four, I think we're good. But I see the same problem. Philadelphia got better. I mean, just looking at the Celtics, I mean, damn near the whole squad, the whole roster came back. It's like all
Right.
13 guys are back. So they know fluid. They've been through it, right? So Philly
Right.
got better. I think people are still sleeping on Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee minus the injuries with Chris Middleton, getting Damian Lillard, acclimated. I think they're going to be better. I think Indiana's going to be better. And honestly, I'm going to call it a buck. Last year we got lucky when Embiid got hurt in Philly, Giannis got hurt in Milwaukee. We elevated to number two. I think that was a little above our reach. Now this season, do I think we can fight for number two? Definitely, but
Okay.
I still have to give Boston the nod. They're the defending champions. You still have other teams like Miami who's still in the hunt. Chicago looks like they got some pieces back. with Zach and
Hmm.
LaMelo. So it's going to be interesting. It's a long season, but I feel good about my Knicks competing this year in the East.
Okay.
In the West, man, it's a dogfight. If I had to
Oh
throw
yeah.
two teams out right now, but throw out the Thunder and the Nuggets. I think those two teams right now stand out the most to me in the West, just with balance and talent and everything else.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep it West Coast because
Okay.
I'm a Mavs fan, so
Okay.
that's where we stand at. I don't know the type of impact that Clay is going to have with the team. I don't know
Interesting.
what the Mavericks are expecting with that pick because
Hmm.
it didn't like thrill me like
Yeah.
when that dropped. So I was just like, yeah, all right. I see that he picked it up the last preseason game. So I'm
Right.
kind of curious to see how he's going to be like, full swing
Right.
um come tomorrow because I believe that's when we play
Play tomorrow.
when we
Yep.
start off it. Yep. So
Mm,
I want to see I think that we can expect the same thing out of the Lakers
mm.
that we've been seeing these past couple of years. I think they're going to start off strong, but they're always good the first half of the season. So between now and doggone December, they're
They
going to be all right.
the in season champions. All right.
Yeah, they might repeat the way they're looking at it, and then Bronny's going to be MVP.
Yeah.
And hey,
Oh
I am
man,
curious
please.
about Denver because I don't know, something seemed a little bit Denver seems, I don't mean this in an offensive manner, but slow.
Very.
Like as far as their progressions, and I know everything evolves around Joker,
Yep.
so it doesn't have that speed. And I'm
Right.
curious to see what type of impact Westbrook is going to bring to them because he likes to run and gun all day.
Right.
So,
I think that
but
gives them. I think that gives them a motor on their second unit.
yeah,
I think with him and the right guys around him to go up and down the court, I think that gives them a different look when
yeah,
Joker and Gordon and those guys are not on the floor. Because you're right. I mean,
hmm
Denver. So I don't care how you. It's like dry paint, and I mean, you can
yeah,
see the moves coming,
hmm
but you can't stop them.
no, no,
But I
absolutely not.
agree with you. I agree. I mean, it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see how that plays out.
yeah, and then I want to know how Minnesota is going to
Mm.
rebound from their loss,
Yep.
being, you know, I think dang, that was like a 4-1 series, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does that
So
look
I want
this
to
year? How does it look?
yeah, I want to know what the impact of Randolph and what's the other cat that came from New
Oh,
York?
my man DiVincenzo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DiVincenzo. I want to
Mhm.
know what I like DiVincenzo too.
I do, man. He's
Yeah.
locked down for you.
Yeah, so I
Eh,
want to
eh,
see what type of impact. I still feel that they should have got rid of Gobert, but I know he's the defensive player of the year. But we'll see, whether or not he make it to the playoffs and he still got them roller skates on.
right. Hey,
So
it makes all the difference. Like I said, I'm a big believer. Like,
yeah,
people were like, "Oh, they came out of nowhere." So now you got to think it took a year and plus the year before Cat was hurt, and he came into last season
hmm
hurt. So, but
yeah,
when you got two big guys, like you got to figure out your roles. You got to figure out spacing because today's game is different. It's not like back in the
yeah,
day where you can pound it in the paint. But
yeah,
once they got that figured out, and Anthony Edwards really took his game to the stratosphere.
hmm
That's what you really seen Minnesota work, and I think they're really in the same situation. It's just going to take time. I think one for them to figure out, for Julius really to figure out how to work with Gobert because he's never really had a consistent big man behind him because Mitchell was hurt a lot of the times. And then, like you
yeah,
say, you got DiVincenzo spotting up in the corners and wherever he's spotting up from. That'll take some of the pressure off. My biggest thing with Julius Randle, I love him to death, and I mean, I'm sad to see him go, but he has a tendency to pound the rock too much. He's a pound, 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 pound guy, and it just hopefully in Minnesota they can help work him out of that. But I
hmm
think that they're Minnesota's, I mean, definitely still a team to watch, but I don't think we're going to see the same level as last year.
right,
And your boy Clay, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that move either in Dallas. I don't I love Clay Thompson. I respect him, the player that he is and he was. I just don't see him giving you guys too much. It's still going to be how does Kyrie and Luca kind of play off of each other? Because look, you call it whatever, that's the baddest backcourt in basketball right now. Like
Oh yeah.
that's so how they work that out. It's gonna be very interesting to see.
I like our big man too with Lively and Powell, I think
Yeah,
is another one.
yeah,
You
man, the
know,
young boy jumping out the
so
building.
yeah, they're gonna come in healthy. I know Lively said that he was working on his 3-point shot, but I just want him to bang it in the paint.
He made it. That's all he need to do
I,
right now, man.
yeah, I get the direction that like you said before, like how the game is played. It's a little bit
Mhm.
different now, and it's more about like you don't see too many people, driving in the hole and going for
Right.
the easy two or the dunk. But like when Lively get that oop and he just brings it home, I'm just like,
Man,
ooh wee,
it's
like I
crazy,
get it,
man.
I get excited. So
Look, I had to go read the boy's bio last year. I was trying to figure out where he came from. How you start flipping who this cat? Now I'll tell you what's interesting too this year, and I'm gonna give Reggie Miller a shout out because he stole my thunder because I was thinking about it before we came on. Just
Mhm.
watching Tatum, and I got a feeling Jason Tatum is going to go on a tear this year in
Yeah.
the NBA just because of how they did him and not how they did him, but how it looked with NBA,
Mhm.
with the dream team or this version of the dream team in the Olympics, where you go from being one of the guys to the guy passing out water and towels, basically. And
Yeah.
I just have a feeling every guy, like when he go to the Lakers, when he go see the Suns, when he go to Golden State, like all Minnesota, all of the cats that was on that dream team that he's going to face. I mean, I swear, I think he's dropping 50 at a minimum because I
You
think he's going to be pissed off.
that's his naughty list right there.
Yeah,
Go
man.
sit
I
there and
just
have
got a
them all
feeling.
down.
Yeah, man. I got a feeling
Yo,
it's going to be heck for them
I
cats.
I guarantee that's going to be the game that AD and LeBron have like load management whenever Boston
Yeah.
comes in town, pay him a visit.
Yeah,
LeBron
man.
gonna be on that veteran clause, like I ain't playing today.
I got a feeling, bro, because I know I would be pissed off. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I would just do work just against
he's
everybody.
definitely going to come in heated.
Yeah. Well, it's just getting started. We're gonna be adding, more of the NBA to the conversation as we now dive into the NBA. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule. We got a couple of fights coming up towards the end of the year that I'm looking forward to. Boxing is not as glamorous as it used to be. But I see a couple of fights on the schedule, and we can talk about this. Well, not even talk. We can talk about it now. Like, how do you feel about this Jake Paul, Mike
Nope,
Tyson? Okay,
nope.
not even worth it.
I'm not. I am not a Jake Paul fan, and
Oh, not
I
at all. Right.
like is pretty much like he's invented the WWE for boxing. That's
That's
the
a
only
good
thing
phrase.
that he has converted. Because I mean, just think of the opponents that he's faced so far. Think of their
Mhm.
age gap. Think of their yeah, they're fighters, but I mean, uh, they're MMA fighters or
Yeah.
they're washed up MMA fighters who start losing their luster in their profession. So that's like the big thing that I look at right now when I see Nate Diaz, when I
Mm,
see Tyrod Woodley, which I
yeah.
cannot stand him. That's another personal thing that we could talk about another time. But damn Tyrod Woodley. Who else? Askin. I forgot
Yeah.
the other one that was like an embarrassment, but like they were all just like washed up doing silly
Washed up.
stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
Like the only fight that I really liked that he had was Tommy Fury, because Tommy
Mm.
Fury gave him a doggone
He
clinic.
gave him.
Like, let me show
Yeah.
you what boxing really is.
Boxing really
You
is.
know
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
was a good
saying?
one.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the only one that I was like, okay, now you should know that what the assignment is. But
Mhm.
like to sit here and I love Tyson to death. I think everyone likes Mike,
Of course.
but
Of course.
like, how do I remember watching George Foreman, watching
Mhm.
glimpses of Evander Holyfield,
Yeah.
looking at them in the ring and everything, and it's just like stop. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
Yeah.
know Holyfield had his reasonings because of taxes and child support, and
Mhm.
they were
Mhm.
coming after his neck. And George Foreman just felt like there was still a glimmer there, but it's just like I don't, because it's one or two things going to happen. It's going to be either I told you so if Tyson gets the knockout, or if we
Right.
see Tyson takes a knee and hits the canvas, like it's going to be a uproar, and then everyone's going to be like, "See, I told you that he shouldn't have been in the ring or anything like
True
that."
that. True that.
So I just want him to go off script, give him a quick 1-2 to the gut, watch him fall down, and then call it a day.
And I think
Because I know that. No,
that's
go
the
ahead. I'm
best
sorry.
case. That's the best case scenario though. Like,
Yeah.
because there's no winning this either way.
No.
Because
No.
this is not even if it was a 40 plus Mike Tyson, we're talking about a 50 plus Mike Tyson. And I understand he
Yeah.
probably still hits harder
Well,
than a
you might as
mule.
well round up and
Right. Well, basically
call
a
it 60.
60.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
because
right.
it'll be 50, 58, 59
Yeah.
either this month or like
Yeah.
right before the fight.
Yeah. So
So
you're right. There's but
yeah.
there's only one where like the best thing that can happen is that Mike, like you say, it gives them a 1-2 and this thing is over. Because if it goes
Yeah.
past that and this becomes it really becomes a sideshow, it becomes a joke
Mhm.
because there's nothing gained personally for Jake Paul beating Mike Tyson. He's 58, 59.
Yeah.
Like you don't really gain anything. Okay, so you fought Mike Tyson, but you fought
Yeah.
the shell
Yeah.
of the shell of
And
the
we're like,
shell.
I'm just like, bro, you're 26 years old.
Right.
Like, why don't you start fighting some of these? He could have fought some heavyweights. He could have came in and went against Deontay Wilder or something like
Okay.
that.
Right.
Or
Impressed
yeah.
Mhm.
Anthony Joshua, Anthony Ruiz, especially since he sat there and put on all this weight. Like, why
Right.
don't you fight a current heavyweight?
Heavyweight.
Or
Yeah.
just it does. I don't even care what class it is, heavyweight, light heavy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just fight somebody that either you're going to make a name for yourself or they're going to make a name out of you. Like,
Agreed.
stop doing all these has-beens and everything. Like I
Wow.
said,
I couldn't agree with you more. You hit it
yeah,
on the head with that statement. That's the nice statement. Jake Paul equals WWE for boxing. So that was a
yeah,
great statement. And
all scripted.
definitely. But I mean, I'm pretty sure like most of America, we're gonna find a way to watch it and
Oh yeah.
probably be
I,
highly disappointed.
hey, look, I say that I despise them, and I'm not looking forward to it. But knowing me, it's going to be on Netflix. That's right. We get to watch it on Netflix, so I'm pretty sure
Right.
I'll be tuning in one way or another.
One way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
3 weeks
man.
from now, I'll be sitting there watching it.
Yeah, I'll be doing the same thing more than likely. Well, that was fun. That was a great way to kick off the show. So we're gonna get into a little NFL right now. I think last
All
week
right.
we had agreed on a couple of games, and I think the game of the week that we both agreed on, looking at the schedule, was the fight for your division.
Mm-hmm.
NFC, Central Division. We know we had the Lions roar into Minnesota, to take on the undefeated Vikings at the time, and I want to let you take this one because I know this one is more close to home for
I mean,
you in the battle.
it's close. Um, I mean, pick the Lions. Lions
Mhm,
won.
mhm.
Um, Jared Goff. I mean, both quarterbacks played well. Let's just be clear
They
on
did.
that.
They did.
I
They
think
did.
the only difference was that pickle that Sam Darnold threw. So I can't even sit
Yep.
here and
Yep.
throw any kind of shade on Sam Darnold. And the game actually could have went either way because you
Either
saw it
way.
at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I want to say it was either Williams or was it Williams that had the fumble? No, Montgomery. Montgomery had the
Montgomery had the
fumble.
fumble. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he had the fumble for loss. Vikings defense picked it up, scored a touchdown. Jared Goff was like, hold my beer. And they came over there and marched it downfield and was able to get a field goal out of it. So I think the bigger issue that's going to happen is when they go back to they have to play in Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You already had the advantage this time, at
Yeah.
Skull Field. So what's
Mhm.
going to happen when you get to Detroit? And this is a very, like I said, this is a high power division period.
Yeah.
Like I honestly see if the
All
season
over. It
continued the
could be
way
all
that it
four.
is,
Could be
no,
all
it's going to
four.
be 3. No, it's going to be 3 because you look at the wild cards and everything. You're going
Well,
to have the
true.
division leader,
Division leader
and
and
then you're
then
going to
two
have
others. Yeah.
2 wild cards. So
Mhm.
I can see that going, and right now it's projected to go that way. So
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like, for that whole division, it's going to be a test of time. Jared Goff seems unstoppable. I have to give Sam Darnold his doggone flowers because,
Man,
like, I wasn't a full sell
he's
when he
outperforming
came.
expectation. He's
Oh
outperforming
yeah,
expectation
definitely.
without question.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, without a doubt. So I think that was like the best game of the weekend for me, was that one right
Mhm.
there. I was like, this is very intense. So,
It was.
you
It
know,
was.
shout out to the whole division, but like, damn, the Lions, like they are. I say they got a purpose right now. They were so
Yeah.
close. I still don't like Coach Campbell sitting here and on these fourth and whatever situations, like, oh, let me do a
Come on,
let me
Riverboat
let me do
Ron,
a
man.
trick play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let me
he
do a trick
Riverboat.
play
Yeah.
right quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like stop doing that, bro. Like either kick a field goal or doggone, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hey, look, he keeps it spicy, man. He keeps it spicy.
yeah. Hey, look, that spiciness, it almost cost him this game though, trying to be too spicy on the 4th and 3. So he can keep doing that all he
He
want
keep
to,
it
but he gonna
spicy,
end up
man.
paying for it.
Hey, look,
So
and somewhere down the line, the numbers it'll catch up, right? There's going to be
yeah.
1 or 2 times it's going to blow up in your face, but I agree. I got to give it to you. Best game of the week. I mean, like you said, outside of the 1 interception from Darnold, the game really could have went either way. Shout out to Golf, man. Really just he took the reins coming down on that last drive, and setting them up. But like I said, I like how this division is coming together because we basically, man, we talk mad ish about Caleb and the Bears early on in the season
Mhm.
about
Oh
how
yeah.
trashy they look. But
Right.
again, I think what are they 4-2 now? They've kind of righted the
4
ship,
and 2. Yeah.
and he's making better calls, making better decisions. The run game is showing up, the defense is showing up, special teams. So I got to give it to him. I still think the Bears are going to be the one to fizzle out just because you have a rookie quarterback. As teams get more tape, things will start looking different. Then you still have really, and that's going to show up to me in the division matchups. I think that's where
Yeah.
the Bears are going to really fizzle out. Is definitely between your pack, the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. And like I said, so far Sam has outperformed everybody's expectations. So even if Sam Donald continues to play the way that he is, he gives Minnesota a heck of a chance to be competitive.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with you right now. If I had to just stepping back, and I was thinking about it before, like you brought up, they've got at least 3 teams. Because when you look across the rest of the NFC, I mean, Philly and Washington's fighting it out here in the East.
Mhm.
Tampa, I mean, we're gonna talk about Tampa later, but it's really Tampa. Can't even say New Orleans anymore in Atlanta because you don't know what you're getting from either one of those teams. And we know Carolina's not doing nothing. And then out
Right.
west, San Francisco is just so beat up right now. It's really going to be hard for them to really stake a claim unless McCaffrey comes back. I hear Kittles is hurt now this week. We
Mhm.
heard what happened to Brandon Ayuk, Debo with pneumonia. So
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard. So Seattle right now looks like the
It's their
default.
opportunity.
Right, it's
Yeah.
really their opportunity to kind of take brain of that. And then it's like you said, right there in the central, man, the black and blue division is back, bro. And it's really going to be ugly uh for the rest of the NFC
Yeah.
to really kind of get in where they fit in, for that one. So I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Yeah, me either. Like I said, we're getting into the second half now, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know how teams are going to continue the streaks. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because a lot of them been having a lot of chippy games, a lot of easy games too. I mean, you bring in the Jaguars and um, these low sub 500 teams, but like
right.
now the big challenge is going to happen. So
Yeah,
how are you
yeah.
going to step
Same.
up? I mean, I think we go against the doggone Niners next week before we
Uh,
start our divisional
I
playoffs.
think
So
so.
it's
Yeah, it's
yeah,
going to be interesting, man.
yeah, it's about to be out there now.
So speaking of, we touched on the 49ers, man. I think that was the other one I think you had on yours. You know, uh hey, what's up, Blue Jays? All right, drop like bomb. What we got here? Traded Jacobs for DJ Moore, a mid-round pick, 3 play keepers, needed a wide receiver bad. Still come on, huh? Well,
Is
if
he a Chiefs fan?
I don't know if he's a Chief. It look like he might be a Bears fan. Um,
Well, DJ Moore, yeah,
yeah,
Bears, but I know
yeah,
Pacheco.
yeah. Well, Pacheco is still have Kamara, Pacheco. Eh, mm, I don't think
Is
that's
that
the
the best
best deal
value?
you can
Yeah,
get. Mm,
yeah,
'Cause I mean, you got to think Pacheco is he's still on IR.
Yeah,
Kamara's the only one that has any value. Bigsby right now, I would say, is the sleeper of the bunch, and Hubbard, Chuba out there in Carolina, man, is a iffy play because the Panthers, you don't know what you're going to get from week to week.
yeah.
I might have played around with that, man, trying to I like the DJ Moore and 3 picks, but I don't know. I might have to play. I might have tried to go a little bit harder for something a little bit better
Yeah.
if that's what we going
I
from a
mean, I think he's
fantasy
fine with Hunt. Like you said, Pacheco, like we don't know when he's coming back.
coming back, right?
But Hubbard is still decent. He will be like a 3 if you need
Yeah,
that.
if you need that. Same thing with Bigsby. Like
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't
Etienne
think you
is
want
hurt.
to. Yeah, I don't see keeping Bigsby.
Right, because he's really
Mm-mm.
again, he's contingent on Etienne being hurt. And that's
Yeah.
really what happened last week. Etienne was out
Mhm.
last week, and Bigsby ran for
Yeah,
like a buck
he had
30
the
or something
opportunity
like
to
that.
shine. Yeah,
Right. But I don't think that's a weekly thing. So
yeah.
uh yeah, Bigsby probably, and like you said, you got Kamara uh and Hunt. So it's not
I mean, Hunt and
totally
Pacheco, they on the same squad, right?
right. They are. I mean,
And Hunt go to
Hunt is really the handcuff right
yeah,
now because Pacheco was on IR. I mean, they basically picked
yeah,
up Hunt off the street, and he
yeah,
came right back and
exactly.
jumped in. So
Yeah, I thought they got him
uh,
from Big Lots or something like that, but he been beasting
yeah,
at the same time
yeah,
too. So I don't
yeah.
even know if it's really worth keeping Pacheco right now because I mean they haven't gave a hard time, but when he'll be back,
No,
right?
no, I haven't heard any timetable. It's been
I mean,
4
that's
weeks
tough
already, I think.
because
So
and I mean, I think Hunt is like producing right now too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I know at the end of the day you got to go with the younger. Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he had 2 touchdowns and 78 yards. So I
hmm
mean, just as long as he's dropping those right now, Kamara, Cup, Cup. Oh, okay. Laporta, Bigsby, Hubbard at flex.
mm,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Who is Chicago playing off the bye though?
I'm not
For
sure. I
you to
have to
have
look.
DJ Moore. I mean, do they start going in? Hold on right quick. If they start, it's gonna depend on if they I guess it's gonna depend on who they're playing coming off. Let's see. They are playing, and I know we're going left from what we're scheduled, so
Oh no,
thank you, Blue
go for it.
Jays.
No, go for it. Go for it. I'm not
Let's see who
mad
the
at it.
Bears play. Bears play. Yeah, see them right up here now.
Hmm. Okay, let me look at the schedule.
Lions, Falcons, Chiefs, Bills.
So the Bears at the Commanders next week. Matter of fact, so the Bears are playing the
Oh yeah,
Commanders.
now I see them.
Yeah,
Ooh, I don't know about
yeah.
having
How
more
the interest?
starting because that
Yeah,
defense been playing. That
yeah.
defense, and
That's gonna
we
be
didn't even talk about the Commanders. I
no,
mean the Commanders.
the
Shout out to
work,
doggone
the
Marcus
work,
Mariota.
the
Uh,
work, man.
I am still in shock and awe that they dropped a 40 ounce.
It's Carolina,
I
bro.
mean,
Like it's Carolina,
which is
man.
true, but for the fact of doggone Marcus Mariota still coming out there and balling like that, when was the last time we saw Marcus Mariota in that type of capacity?
Where did he play college again? Oregon. Yeah, that was the last time.
when he
Yeah,
was when he was a duck.
yeah. That was the last time we anything like that.
Yo,
Yeah, it
I
came out
was
ball.
like, Buddy's been a traveling man between Tennessee, Atlanta, Raiders. Who else has he played
I
for?
think he was in Atlanta last year too, or the year before.
Right.
He was in Atlanta. Hey, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So
This dude has been
he
everywhere.
done hop like 3-4 teams, but he's never played that good before.
Well,
So
that
I
just
don't
goes
know if it's
to
just
again coaching and the system
because
because
Cliff is over there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I know Cliff is I mean that goes back to his college days
Exactly.
at Oklahoma. So
Hmm.
like that was a huge upgrade right there. But
Yeah.
yeah, Blue Jays, I like Hunt. Kamara's a little
I
we
mean,
don't
right
know what
now,
type of we don't know
if
what
that's
type
what
of
you got,
Saints going to show up either.
right? If Derek Carr's back, that's one thing. If they still
Yeah.
with Rattler, that might not be a good look. You know what I mean? You got Hurts at your
Yeah.
quarterback. Is he due back next week? I think I read he's back next week. So that's not
Yeah,
bad.
so Yeah.
Reed, Moore, Laporta. Like I said, the Bigsby Hubbard thing, I think that's a toss up because
They're going against the Vikings though. Like, I don't
uh,
know about starting Cup with that
yeah,
defense. So I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I do like Laporta. Like hey, look, may the odds be forever in your favor. Laporta might be fine just for the fact that y'all going up against the Titans right there, and I
Right.
don't trust the Titans defense against anybody.
No,
So
they unless it's
yeah.
Carolina. Unless it's Carolina.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just gonna that probably be the first tie that we see.
You're right. Zero
First
zero
tie of the
tie.
year.
0-0 tie. Yeah. You make it
Yeah,
that.
so
Oh,
you
man.
got some work that you got to do right there. I would try to look for another. I would try to look for another receiver for Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
really look
either
at.
one, because I don't know how he's coming off an injury,
Yeah,
matching up.
yeah,
And then think about I don't know how many reps he's really gonna be ready, how many
yeah,
snaps he's gonna be able to run. So
exactly.
that might be a flip side to it too.
Yeah.
But
So, but hey, best
great
of luck.
question. I appreciate
Yeah,
your Blue Jays and good luck, man, on your fantasy journey. So we're gonna transition. We were talking about the 49ers, and they
yes.
took on the Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch. And this wasn't really that great of
No,
a matchup. But I'm gonna what was your take, Sam, on this Super Bowl revenge
I, I,
game
ju-
right here?
I mean, I just don't get how sloppy games still get dubs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had 154 yards,
Mhm.
2 pickles.
Two pickles.
If it wasn't for Kareem Hunt and company,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, uh, and the defense kept them afloat too. And not only
Hmm.
that, but there was like a lot of costly mistakes with San Fran too. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Penalties galore. I think that was the biggest thing that came over there and hurt them out of the whole thing. And those interceptions thrown by Brock Purdy too.
Hmm.
Like that didn't make it any better as well.
I agree.
So I mean,
I
hey, look, they're the only ones that's still undefeated right now. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, too.
Got to give it to
So
them. Look, man, they got the breaks. Sometimes they got the reps. I don't
yeah,
want to say the reps in their pockets, but they get the calls. And this one, I just think really, for me, it was just when I look at San Francisco, there's too many injuries and too many key places for them
yeah,
to overcome.
yeah.
And as bad as Patrick played, probably one of his
Mm-hmm.
worst statistical games as a pro. Um, all their skill positions really on the 49ers offense and defenses, they've been decimated. And you're just
Yes.
watching the continued fallout with Ayuk and Debo. We still don't know what's going on with Christian McCaffrey. Like I said earlier, top of the show, George Kittle being hurt now, allegedly. I don't know unless one of these other young guys. I think the young man Pearsall or McMichael coming out of the back. Like it's just a lot to overcome right now. So this is one of those where right now, I hate to say it, we're coming up on the midpoint of the season. There's no anointment water or batter or butter that could come fast enough for San Francisco. But if they lose, one or two more games, and they slide to 3-6, 3-7, and if Seattle can really take hold of it, I think this season is in the books for San Francisco.
Yeah.
I just don't see them coming back, and I hate to say that, but that's just the way the handwriting looks on the wall to me. And
Right.
we might be
I
having
mean,
to
you have
make
these
connections.
seasons too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. I mean, everybody
So
plays by the same set of rules, and
yeah.
injuries is just one of them. And sometimes some teams get the injury bug more than others. I mean, we watched that happen to Baltimore a couple of years ago. Seemed like they were
Oh yeah.
ravaged by injury, So, um, we're going to go ahead and wish the best for them. And then I
Oh yeah.
want to
Always.
transition back to your backyard though. What I
Okay.
had as a definitely must watch. Two of the better teams in the NFL. Texans came to Green Bay. Diggs was getting a little spicy, icy before the game,
Oh
and I
yeah.
was like, he was bringing it. So, what did you see from your vantage point?
Hey, look. One, we got a kicker, so God bless McManus.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like I am so relieved. And it was crazy because I think it was Josh Jacobs that went up to McManus at the beginning of the game, and he was like, "Look, man, this game might boil down to you." And sure enough, it did. So for us to kick that field goal, I am relieved. Two, I just think about the defense. Like, yeah, Joe Mixon went off with like 105 yards. I think total they netted 142. But look at the passing yards.
Crazy.
Like, doggone, CJ Stroud only threw, he was 10 of 21 and only threw for 86 yards.
Terrible.
No touchdowns.
Terrible,
you know what I'm saying?
bro.
The only time that they scored, once again, and like I'm just going to talk about the Packers like I talk about the Longhorns, is like you can't give up good field possession. And that's what happened. That's what happened the only time that doggone the Texans came over there and scored.
Right.
They were in good, they had good field position due to those costly doggone interceptions that doggone Jordan Love threw. Like, ease up, bro. I said it before. You don't need to chunk it downfield all the time. If it's not open, just check it down or run. You should be looking for Josh Jacobs in the flat or Kraft or whoever, but you ain't got to heave-ho this joint. They go to get they shine. Wicks, Dobbs, Watson, they're all going to get their shine, but you don't need to sit here and force it in double or triple coverage. I think it was one that it was like 3 defenders up on Dobbs at one point in time. Watson had 2 of them, and he threw it too high, and it just sailed past him, and there was an interception right there too. So Jordan just got to be a little bit more careful with that rock, but we're still sitting pretty. 5-2. I'm not going to complain about that. Should be, I want to say we should be 7-0, but like we were playing catch up those times too. You know, so
and that's
like
what happens,
I'll eat that crow.
You get that, you get that Jordan Love though. Like sometimes he's got the gunslinger mentality, almost like a Brett Favre, if you will. And
that's
sometimes
exactly
it's like,
what it is.
Yeah, you know, it's like just like sometimes like no, like you're shaking your head like no.
Yeah. Like,
And
what are
he
we
does
doing
it.
right now?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think if he can manage that, or someone coaching or whatever help manage that, I agree with you. You know, you guys are you've gotten or become very electrifying on offense, where you have so many different targets. You have a 3-headed monster or 4-headed monster at wide receiver. Tucker's become Tucker Pratt. He's become a heck of a tight end. You've got again a consistent ground game. You know, with coming out of the backfield, and it's just managing turnovers. And like you said, keeping your opponent on the other side of the 50, not on your side of the 50, makes it much harder for your defense. And like you said, man, look, what can I say? It was like basically from his own 30, Love drove the team down, completed, I think it was 4-7 for 39 on the last drive. And then, you know, McManus came out, man, and kicked the game winner with, I think it was like 15 seconds left on the clock. You guys look good, man. And again, like you said, the injury bug stays away, and we get some better decisions out of Jordan Love. I think you guys are going to be in the thick of things, you know, as the season progresses. And I'm excited to see what goes on. Like we talked about it earlier. That division is going to be tough in the second half, just watching the matchups. Then I'm going to transition over here. You know, last night I had the pleasure, man. I mean, you know, Bucs and the Ravens, and I was super excited about this one at first because I get to talk about two of my favorite guys. One has become my favorite guy, but you know, Lamar Jackson, the other guy, you know, MVP right now. I don't care what nobody. He's one, and Derrick Henry, I'm sorry, has got to be 1A. Just the way that they handled Tampa last night. And look, I was shocked. Tampa came out, man, with a script in that opening drive in the first half. Baker was again, he's become one of my favorite guys. I thought Baker used to be a bonehead, but he's become a better quarterback. But last night, Baltimore's defense kind of changed up that script. I mean, he got pummeled, sacked, trounced, packaged, whatever you want to call it. Baltimore came in with their game plan was totally different. I mean, look, Lamar 5 touchdown passes, and that was really before Derrick Henry really even took a handoff. I mean, he only touched the ball like 5 or 6 times in the first half. He come out in the third quarter, he takes the first or second rock, he takes the rock 80 some yards, and you could just see the demoralization, you know, of the Bucs. And you know, I turned the game off when it was 41-18, and this was like in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Surprise, couple of onside kicks I see later on this morning. So the score was really deceiving. But if I have to say it right now, I'm putting the Ravens in the Super Bowl. If you get
Mm.
that type of all around look, man, they look scary last night, dude. Like
Which they
offensively,
yes.
defensively, special teams. It's kind of man. They look awesome. I don't care. I'm. That's my pick right now. Week 7. Oh well, we going into week 8. I'm putting Baltimore in the playoffs, and not only in the playoffs, but in the Super Bowl because Kansas City ain't got nothing for that. If that shows up in Kansas City ain't got nothing for that.
Yeah, but they need to show up in Kansas City like this. That's my only thing. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel you.
Because they just played Kansas City at the beginning of the
Week
year.
1. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it
Mm-hmm.
like like
Well, look,
I
they
felt
didn't
like
have this
that
game
was the
script.
statement game, which is true. I felt like that
Mm-hmm.
was the statement game. So
Mm-hmm.
like I agree with it, but they need to show up. I'm just hoping that it's not one of those moments that, Lamar can't sit here and perform, when the
Kryptonite.
spotlight is on him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We don't need Taylor Swift and the Chiefs, to sit here and get another doggone dub and everything. So like he's playing good ball. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see what happens with that. On the flip side, I agree with you. I'm enjoying watching Baker Mayfield play ball. It was
Mm-hmm.
tragic what happened with Mike Evans
Yeah,
as well
man.
as Chris Godwin.
Godwin,
Like
yeah.
that injury, I've never seen a foot move turn that direction before. That was
It's not
pretty
supposed
hideous.
to at all. Yeah.
And then on
Man.
top of that, they were having issues. They had quite a few injuries as far as the defensive side too.
Yep. Yep.
So it that whole game, like it was moxie for them to come back and score
It
31
was.
points.
It was.
But it took a lot. So like we're talking about the Bucs now the same way that we're talking about the Niners. On the
True.
flip side, like
True.
in that conference, I don't think that there's an immediate threat. They just need to stay
Yeah.
afloat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because there's
Agreed.
not an immediate
Agreed.
threat. Maybe depending, like you said earlier, when Derek Carr comes up and how he recovers from his
Mm-hmm.
injury. But I mean, even then, they really don't have that many impact players
I mean,
as
the only
far as
thing
the
that
Saints. So
the only team left is
no, go
is,
ahead.
is Kirko Chains. Kirko Chains is the
Yeah,
only threat. And again,
yeah,
though, you get Jekyll and Hyde in Atlanta, though. And
yeah,
I don't know if I want to put a fake 50-cent coin on Kirko Chains yet, because
yeah,
from 1 week to the I don't know. I want to like him, then I want to
yeah,
hate him, and so like you said, it's up in the air. And like you said, if they can keep afloat, that's going to be the challenge.
no, yeah. Yeah, if they could just tread water, stay afloat, they'll be all right. And like we said before, they'll end up winning that division.
Mm-hmm.
So Lamar Jackson came over there and did a clinic. Derrick Henry, aka Jaggernaut, coming over there and straight trucking folks. So like you said, it's a immovable force. Was it Williams that got hurt from Baltimore? They
Yeah,
lost
so I
a
mean,
key defensive player too. I think
so they
it
took some
was
hits.
yeah.
Him,
So like
Humphreys. I mean, Humphreys made some plays, but he looked like he got hurt. I don't know, it was shoulder or ankle or something. Man,
yeah,
they're treading thin on the
hmm
defensive side as well.
yeah,
But they showed up when the
yeah,
lights was on last night.
yeah. These trainers and healthcare specialists that these teams got, they need to start making their money now. The season is stretched out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So like the durability of players becomes a huge factor. So I know
Mm-hmm.
we're going towards a safer league, but like, make sure you eat right. What Hulk Hogan say your prayers, eat your vitamins. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
look.
Drink your milk. Like they need to continue to do that.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Sam. There's not enough medical attention. There's not enough health care for my New York Giants.
Oh
These
man.
Bammers, these Bammers stunk it
Oh
up
man.
again. So we're back to Pee Wee football.
Yeah. I felt bad because I felt like Tyra Banks on the Next Top Model looking at Danny Dimes, and I was like, I was rooting for you. And then they brought Drew Lock in there, and I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, bruh,
Don't nobody want you either, bum. Get out of here.
bruh. I don't
I'm
even
like,
know.
this is
Like,
bad.
I don't even know what to say, man. Because You convinced me to get back on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I did.
I even took my jersey. I had took my jersey out, and I actually started wearing it
Okay.
Sunday. I took it off by halftime. The guy, I'm telling you, bro, I was ready to burn it.
Hey, look, you were too lenient keeping it on prior to halftime.
Bruh. The dude that we let go down the Jersey Turnpike, man, he manhandled us by himself. He outrushed and outyarded the whole damn team by himself, bro. I can't. We have no talent. We have zero talent in the Meadowlands. And good evening.
Yeah, it was.
Good evening, Ms. Cunningham. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Ms.
bad.
Cunningham.
It was bad, bro.
It wasn't good. I mean,
Sam, I don't care how you dress it. You cannot put enough salad dressing on this dry ass salad. Bro, it was bad.
I mean,
bad meaning good.
Hey, look, somebody threw some croutons on that salad with no dressing and
dry.
Yeah.
Yep, dry.
Like I said, man, I tried. Like I was there. The hype train was real for me, and then like I guess reality starts superseding expectations, and here we are. So,
man, look, let me tell you something. Look, and here's the sad part. Just looking at the numbers. So they sacked us 8 times. I mean, we basically sacked Jalen Hurts. I think it was like 5 or 6 times, whatever. I mean, okay, right. But we couldn't find anyone that could get open. Nope. We couldn't keep Danny Dimes up worth a nickel. It was just so bad to watch. And to watch Saquon, I mean, he ran up and down the field like he was riding up and down I-95. No traffic. It was no traffic. And it was just crazy to see. And I'm going to give him class, man. I watched the clip this morning where, the coach went over to him, man. I mean, he was like, look, you can break your record today. I think, when he was a Johnny ran for $186. Oh, yeah. I think he was like 12 or 13 yards short, man. And this is how classy of a guy he is. He was like, nah, coach, let the young guys eat. Now, if it was me, I went out there. I'm going for 2 and some change. But he's a classy guy. But there is, outside of our defense, I don't really see much. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, okay, we go to Germany, I think, next to take on the Panthers or whoever. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can't even call that a win now because we just look so bad this week. So, and to know that the Commanders dropped 40 without Jaden. And they still without Jaden, right? And I got Danny Dimes. Man, if we don't do, it's just bad. It's time to look. I agree with you. Drew Lock is not the answer, but I want Drew Lock. Give me Drew Lock. Start him because it can't get no worse. It really can't.
Well, I guess I know who your cut is.
You believe that. Believe that. No shade, no shame. I'm cutting them off at the kneecaps.
I got you.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was bad. You know what I'm saying? I was embarrassed for the fans and the whole program as a whole. Like I still don't know what to say on that one. So
yeah, well, good thing I'm trying to be PG rated because I got some other words that I could use, particularly adjectives that are a lot stronger. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. So speaking of which, we talk about cutting. We're at that part of the segment. Who we want to start next week, and then we're going to talk about quarterbacks this week, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I'm going to open the floor up to you, Sam. I'm going to let you lead us into start one, bench one, cut one. Who you got for this week?
Let me see what this schedule is looking like right now. I will start. Ooh, no, not now. I saw the Browns and I was like, famous Jameis, but I saw they going up against the Ravens and I'm like, no. All right. So I will start Jared Goff because they're playing the Titans. So that's going to be an easy one.
It's a good one.
I have a good confidence in that. I would say bench Gardner Minshew
Mm. Good one.
Because he ain't it right now, and I don't even know who O'Connell's hurt, so I
Yeah.
don't know who else the Ravens got. But start them instead of doggone Minshew. I used to be a big fan of Uncle Rico,
Yeah.
especially with his days down there in Jacksonville. But like he has not been that good. He
Mm-mm.
wasn't good in Indianapolis. He's not good out there in Vegas.
Nah,
So just
they
bench
got the
him.
Chiefs coming to town too, so I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, that's going to
Mhm.
be a straight wrecking ball right there. And who to cut?
I got somebody.
Um,
I got somebody.
well, I mean, I know you have someone. Uh, I mean, I would say Deshaun Watson, but he's already hurt.
Right.
And then I would go to the Patriots, but I think that they already cut Brissett. So you know what? Ooh, cut Aaron Rodgers this weekend because I don't
Mm.
think that he's going to have big numbers out there
Really?
with New England. Yeah,
Really? Okay,
and
that's
like
interesting.
I feel like that was a fairy tale matchup anyway. Like Devontae, I tell you what, if Derek Carr was healthy, I will promise you that Devontae Adams will be a Saint and not a Jet right now. I'm putting it
Mm.
out there right now
I like
because the
that.
only reason why he went to Vegas was because of doggone
Of Derek
Derek
Carr?
Carr. Yeah, there's no timetable of when he's going to be back. So, and I know the desperation that the Jets are at right now.
Right.
But like you have four high-powered weapons. If you're looking at, I would even put Adam Lazard in that mix too. Alan
Oh yeah.
Lazard,
You got
Garrett Wilson,
Garrett Wilson. Yep.
Devontae Adams, and then
Mm-hmm.
who's their back
M-
out? Uh,
Brees Hall.
yeah, Reese Hall. So you
Mm-hmm.
got four premier players right there, and you can't do anything with them. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see the frustration. Now I get it; it's still that offensive line, but like I think the nostalgia is fading and it's fading fast.
Yeah.
So he might prove me wrong and have like 300 yards, but I don't see it with that arm, and with the time that he lacks in that pocket. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't see that happening. So I would bench if anybody's starting Aaron Rodgers this weekend, I want to start him
Interesting.
against the Patriots.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. I was looking at it from the flip side. I thought New England would be the perfect game for them to try to right the ship, if you will, and get everybody kind of in line. But I like your take. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Um, for me, I'm starting Lamar Jackson. I'm
Mhm.
riding the Lamar train, especially they're going into a Cleveland, I believe, this week. Uh,
Yeah.
Cleveland has no shot in HELL hockey sticks things going on. Is this bad? Is this bad all over in Cleveland? So I don't even need to say more with that. I'm riding Lamar. Um, if I had to bench anyone right now, and I kind of went back and forth. A couple of guys I was looking at, like Kyler Murray and a couple other guys, but I'm gonna go to Indianapolis and I'm gonna sit Anthony Richardson. Uh,
Yeah.
he's just not. I don't know. I don't know what GMs and the pro people see. I don't see it.
Yeah.
When Joe Flacco, who's my age, can come in and tear the league down for 300 plus yards and hit guys wide open and strike, like I don't know. So right now I'm going to bench Anthony Richardson. Plus, they have a divisional matchup with Houston this week, and I think after the Green
Mhm.
Bay loss, I think they might be still a little spicy. So I think that's going to be my bench for the week. And you already know who I'm cutting. I'm calling for
Yes.
Drew Lock. Get rid of Danny Dimes.
Mhm.
It's time to look, eat the 40 million or 25 million or whatever's left on it. Eat it. We paid Drew 10. Can't get no worse. I want to see Drew at some point before this debacle keeps debacling in New York. So that's what I'm going with. And I want to watch out for, one of the things I want to watch out for, and I want to apologize because last week, the team that I was saying watch out for was the Texans. I'm looking at my
Mhm.
notes where I put the Texans can win in the clutch. Well, Sam, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Your
Hey, look.
Packers were the ones who won in the
Mhm.
clutch. I'm sorry. So I
Right.
want to apologize. But this week, I'm gonna go with uh, and this is gonna sound, I don't know if it's strange or not, but I'm looking at the Bills and the Seahawks. I think
Ooh,
that's going to be an interesting game.
okay.
The Bills are going across country, and I think we're going to see more alley oops to Cooper. and I'm just really intrigued to see how that continues to progress on a road trip. So that's going to be the Bills are my team to watch out next week, and I think they win in a close one. I think they win that one by a field goal in Seattle.
Okay.
Anything to watch out for you? Any team, person, player you want to watch out for next week?
I'm watching out for Marcus Mariota. We were just talking about
Mm,
him,
yeah,
and I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to continue. Like I said, that performance on Sunday, like
crazy,
the way he was using his feet, that his
crazy.
accuracy, finding his targets and everything. Like I said, it felt like a doggone anomaly. Now you
Hmm.
have, and especially with Jaden being week to week, as they
Right,
say.
right.
So we don't know when he's coming back. I was looking at that matchup anyway because that would have been a good number one versus number two.
Hmm.
But still, both teams over 500, which we haven't seen in a while from both programs.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to come in with that same pop, I guess you could say,
That's a
this
good matchup.
weekend between the Bears. I think that's going to be better than anticipated. So
low key, because that's not again. You're hitting it on the head. Both teams are doing better than they
yes,
have in recent years. And when you really to say it out loud is like when it kind of hits you, like, oh yeah, like 4-2 and four. It's like when you say their
yeah,
records out loud, is one of those like, oh dang, yeah, okay, I can kind of see that. And it does when I look at the schedule now, it does kind of outshine some of the more traditional games, like the Cowboys at San Francisco this week.
yeah.
You got the throwback, some of the old teams, the Giants at the Steelers. Um,
Hmm.
like I said, there's only a couple of games when I really look at this that I'm really interested in. The division battle between Atlanta and Tampa Bay stands out to me. Buffalo going to Seattle stands out, and you actually the Bears at Washington might actually be the game of the week. I think we
I
might have
think
to bump
so.
that one. Yeah, I think so. That's a good call. We're gonna make that the game of the week for next week to talk about. But yeah, I like that, man. Good call. Yeah. Okay. Well, um, there you have it. And it just sounds like somebody outside just ate a fender. Sound like somebody somebody just took a truck to the back. It didn't sound good. Wow. But yeah, so that's it, man. Another great show, Sam, and I really appreciate it. Um, we're gonna highlight those three games that we just talked about, and we'll get into our regular drill. We'll add some NBA and some other commentary. Anything you want to say or share before we close out this great
Mm,
conversation?
no, I don't have anything. Hey, look, man, everyone just take your days one day at a time. Enjoy the
Mm.
rest of this sunlight, this warm weather, because for some strange reason, I think when winter comes, it might be a little disrespectful this time. I know we've been having some mild ones,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. I got that hunch right now. We've been having like sneak previews. I think it's gonna hit a little different this year. So
Mm.
and continue to live your life. You know what I'm saying?
I love
Just
that.
just go out there, have fun, do your thing responsibly, of course.
Yeah.
But just do you. So that's all I have.
Man, I couldn't have said it any better. And I think that's the perfect way to end today's conversation and segment of Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz. I thank you all for joining us. As Sam so eloquently said, man, live your life one day at a time, man. Live it to the max. Do it responsibly. And we hope to see you all again with us next week for week 8. And we'll, again, like I said, have some more fun. You can follow Two Mics Up, across social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified by us for all the newest content that we're bringing to you each and every week. Two Mics Up, the celebrity talk show continue on Monday. I'll also be back this Friday with Two Mics Up Business Corner on the all new Infusion TV channel, which is part of the number one network for positive programming, the Mogul TV Global Network. If you haven't done so already, go to your Roku or your Amazon TV Fire Stick and download the Mogul TV Global app while it's free, so you can watch all of the great content on the network and the channel. And drop us a comment, man. Let us know what you think. We really appreciate you guys rocking with us each and every week. So on behalf of my man, my brother, Big A, Sam Adams, Old Sarge Gaming, check him out. You know, he stays busy with a little gaming action. So for those of y'all who are looking for a little competition, a little fun, check him out. And
Hey, let me know. Y'all choose your
where
poison.
you at? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
check
mean,
it.
with that being said, Black Ops 6 do drop this week, so that will be in heavy rotation. I'll probably start streaming it Saturday.
Okay.
I always do the campaign first. So if you go to at Osarge, or if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see me this weekend giving the campaign a little run. Probably freaking out, giving my input before I sit there and I start playing multiplayer. So come check that out.
All right. So you heard it here. Check him out, man. Support, follow. Go ahead and game with him. I'm be interested to see, man. Y'all come back here. Y'all can say some of the smack talk here on the show.
Oh
So,
yeah, y'all can get on the sticks. Hey, let me know. I play football too. If y'all want to do some NCAA or some Madden, let me know.
all right.
Don't take it personally though. That's all I'm gonna say when you get that L.
Yeah, it's been a while since I did any of that, but I might just do it just for the fun of it. But hey, let us know, ladies and gentlemen. Drop us a comment, hit us up on social media, and enjoy the rest of your evening, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch some NBA, have a cocktail, do whatever you do it responsibly, and we'll see you all next week. And like we do at the end of each and every show, may you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.